I'm just I got a new toy this past week, and I'm just basically recording. I just thought about recording some of the conversations. Is that all right with you?
Yeah. I'll sound like gibberish later.
Well, I don't think so, but some of the conversations, and don't get me wrong, I've got friends on in Facebook, and I've got a few friends in Twitter. Okay, but some of the things that people who are acquainted, there's a difference between a friend and an acquaintance, right?
Yeah.
I've got people I know to be friends on Facebook. Then I got people that are acquainted with me because of some of the things I post, or because some of the things I say. These are not. I'm not going to sit here and say that they are my great friends, but these are people that know me somewhat. Anyway, long story short, some of them are way off track, and I can't really sit there and jump down their throats about something. All I can do is kind of give a nudge. Say, all right, let's look at what you're saying and let's go this far. Let's go this far. I had one person contact me and say, the universe told me something and I've got to tell you. I said, go ahead. Well, you got to send me a friend request. I said, no. You can either post it right here, or you can send me a friend request and I will confirm it. So they sent me a friend request and I confirmed it. And this person started going way off the wall, and I sat there and I said, no, that's not me. And they got mad. First off, they got mad because I said, I'm not paying. Now, this is something you asked me. I'm not paying you for something, for this.
For something I don't want, didn't ask for.
For something I didn't ask for. Well, they got mad about that. And then they went way off track, and I just told them, I said, look. I said, they said, well, you act like a tough guy. You ain't nothing but an old softy. I said, then I told them, I said, look, my friends know, and they have seen me walk through hell alone. They've seen the things that I can do alone. I said, now, if you want to be a friend, that's great. But if you think I'm an old softy, I'm here.
Push me.
Mm-hmm. Push me.
See what I'm made of.
I ask for help. If I ask for help, it's because I feel like I need. But I'm not going to be afraid to ask for help. It's like I told my psychiatrist. I believe in God. But I'm not going to spend 25, 30 years waiting on an answer if I can go a different route and ask for help.
That's why I started drinking beer and smoking pot. Because I was so upside down, so angry, so hurt. And I'm like, God, please take this out of me. God just left it. So I'm like, okay, I'll medicate.
I think again, it's this whole idea of trust God movement. If you want to trust God, fine. If you got the faith to trust God, that's fine.
Something I struggle with.
But trusting God does not mean you can't go. Rudy Thrasher. He would put out that trust God message, and yet, without telling everybody, him and his wife would go see a doctor.
I heard she's gotten down really thin because she won't go get help for her cancer.
Well, that's her. It's like that guy, Brother Huddleston used to tell me about a guy that he died because he wouldn't go see a doctor, and all it was an infected hair in the back of his neck.
It turned into something worse.
It turned into something worse. There is common sense, and then there's bullshit.
Yeah.
Common sense tells you trust God, but find out what number one, if I were to sit here and like Rudy Thrasher, my back was broken like this, like a joystick. Where's the proof?
Yeah.
If you don't, if you think
Unless you were
something,
an eyewitness who was there, who saw him broken, then saw him healed, which where are they? There's
Yeah.
no one to testify to that.
you know what Jimmy Jones? Have you remember Jimmy Jones?
Seen
The
him
Guyana thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. That's the way he played it. He would take somebody that would say they had a problem. One time somebody said something about having cancer. He would take, and he called himself a healer, and he would take meat, raw meat, frozen raw meat, and as he worked it, that it thawed out, and all that blood would start coming out, and he'd put it in a pan, and he'd have somebody take the pan and bury it outside. And he would always yell, "That's the cancer! Don't touch it! Don't anybody touch it!" Okay. Now that's really stepping off in faith for somebody to sit there and say, "Yeah, I seen him do it." Is there evidence that this person was healed? Did he go back to the doctor and let him do an X-ray on him? No. If you're gonna trust in God, have common sense. Get it documented. Why is it that it's not in the papers? It's because there's no documentation.
Yeah, the Catholics are big on their documentation.
They are very big.
They've probably got hundreds of thousands of documented miracles, demonic possessions, demons cast out. They're big on it.
Like that one fellow from what was it? You ever hear of the movie Conjuring?
Yeah, we watched Conjuring too.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back and watch it. I've seen both.
Well, there's three of them. The Devil Made Me Do It and all that.
I didn't know there was a third one.
There is actually a court case, documented case, where this kid says that he was possessed, and
That was the Amityville where
oh
shot his whole family, and he said the devil made
no
it.
no this is down in Louisiana, I think. But anyway, the thing is, it's a documented court case, and I want to say, what's that couple's name? The one that,
Something Ed and Lorraine.
yeah.
I can't remember their last name now.
But anyway, Warren.
Warren.
Uh,
Yeah, they were sanctioned by the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
To cast out.
But they went and did a court case where this kid said he was possessed because he killed this guy, whatever, and he said the devil made him do it. Well, they had to go in and prove that there was a devil. First off, there was a devil, so that the court would accept that, and then go on and say that this devil could do this or that. Okay, they had to prove all this. So when you see it, you'll get a kind of idea of what they're talking about. But I had also seen a case like that before this, where this kid was, it could be the same case, but they had this little 14-year-old kid, and he was, they said that he was devil possessed. But he had said something or done something, and as they were going from one place to the other, he said he could see an old man standing off to the side of the road. I've been looking for it, but I hadn't found it yet. Standing off to the side of the road. This is supposed to be a true story. And they'd go about 50 miles, and that old man would be there again, standing off the side of the road. And he started asking questions. First he asked his mom and dad, "Who's that old man? Or do you see that old man?" And they said no. Then he started asking questions of the old man. And the old man started answering. He followed them to their house.
Wow.
And things started happening. If the kid walked into the room, the lights would flicker. Things would start falling off the shelves, so forth and so on, just like in a good poltergeist movie. Well, this older kid come in and said, "Leave my brother alone, take me." And when he did that, it jumped. And I think that's where this falls into the storyline of the Warrens on this. The devil made me do it. Long story short, they got in there. They cast the devil. They didn't just cast the devil out. The kid went to prison, but he, instead of his life sentence, was commuted to so many years in prison for what happened. The thing is that the Warrens became. That's where they actually became a great big name
Yeah.
in the occult. You have they have all these stories, but their big thing was they had to have the sanction of the church. Me, I don't. I'll ask if anybody in the church wants to go with me, but I don't have to have the sanction of the church. My God tells me that I've got the power. You've got the power, and if you've got the power, you can control it. A lot of people don't want to hear that because that means that they're falling against or falling back on what they can do. And that's one of the things I do. I try to tell people, say, look, you've got the power. When God tells you that life and death exists in your tongue, you've got the power.
Yeah. We just don't use it.
We're afraid to because, number one, because of the church.
Unlike animals, we've abandoned our instincts in favor of our conscious mind reasoning things out.
That's a good point.
And that makes us inferior as a species. Because
Really?
we fail to use what's hardwired in us. We
Really?
ignore it, we mute it, we shut it off.
Let me ask you a question. Why can't man live to be 300 years old? Again.
Doesn't want to, doesn't know how.
Or because the church teaches us that we can't. Yeah, I know where God says that you can only live, I'll give you this much time, whatever. But even now, and it's probably because they're on borrowed time, I can understand that. But even now, you got people that live to be 100 or something like that. Abraham was how old? And he was still walking around doing sacrifices and doing things.
There's a lot of error code in our DNA. You know, the parents making children and grandchildren. It's like what I said about the tape recording, a recording of a tape and a recording of that recording. And every time it gets dirtier, the signal of noise gets worse. And as you get older, your DNA, you're replacing cells, but your body's creating distortion. That's why we get wrinkled and we don't heal as good. And we age. We appear to age because they say every 7 years all your cells have been replaced.
What if you could get control of that? Take control of that.
They're working on that right now.
You know.
What they're doing with genetics, I believe, is like the second Tower of Babel.
I don't. Let me put my words together in my head so I can sit there and say, "Yeah, I thought about that."
What if they could grow an arm or a replacement organ in a lab? You know,
Why would the church? Why would the church have a problem? And I used to feel the same way, but why would the church have a problem if they could grow a person in your image?
you put your conscious in them.
No.
What?
Let's say you had a bad heart. They take that heart and they take a new heart that they know would be compatible because it used your cells
Yeah, it was your
and
DNA.
replace your old heart with it. Why would the church have that problem? Are they so wrapped up in the fact that key members, they don't want that because they want to be they want to go to heaven? But like Lucy says, no one wants to die to go to heaven. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die.
They want heaven on earth. That's what they wanted when Jesus was walking the earth. They thought, oh, good, the 1,000-year reign has begun. You know, like there's going to be basically heaven on earth,
Yeah.
and that was not the case.
It's not the case because it's not what the church wants. The church back then, they wanted the Messiah to come in and destroy Rome, take away all their...
Wipe out all the sinners and let those righteous Pharisees rule and reign.
When William Johnstone wrote those books, the series about the one that was the Witches series, he made the statement, and I've heard the statement in other movies. I've heard the statement, but he was the first one that I saw make this statement. The main character in the book was a preacher. He was a special forces man that gave up his army career to become a preacher. Okay? Now, having said all that, as he was preaching, people were accepting, but a bunch, what they called witches, started moving in, and they started playing havoc on the Christian community there. Again, this is basically somebody going off what the church has told them. Long story short, this preacher, he's getting ready for the final battle, and what he understands that one of the angels, he thinks it's Michael, was there to help him on several cases. Finally, he calls out to Michael, and Michael answers, and he starts talking about the situation. And he tells the preacher, if God's going to allow you to do this, if God's going to allow you to fight, it's because he trusts you. Okay? The preacher asked him, how can he trust somebody like me? The things I've done in my past. I'm not a perfect man. Michael tells him, and I've told you this before, Michael tells him, it's not that he wants perfect people. He wants his people to be forgiven. Then in the movie Legion, the last thing Michael says to Gabriel, you gave him what he wanted. I gave him what he needed. Go back and look at the Old Testament. God, in several cases, freaks out, if you want to call it that. Just like a human, he totally freaks out. They did this. Stand back, let me destroy them, and I'll create a new people with you. Moses says no. Moses didn't give God what he wanted. He gave God what he needed. He said, if you do it this way, they're going to look at you and say, you couldn't even control your own people.
The job. Yeah.
You couldn't do the job. Does that not sound like pride in God?
I guess he's holy because he says he's holy.
Brother, the point I'm trying to come across, the point I'm trying to bring across is this. God has given us the tools. He's given us an instruction book. He's given us many instruction books.
He can change his mind.
I'm not saying he can't. But when he sits there and he tells an angel to go ahead and lie, and then you tell me that God can't lie?
He doesn't lie. He has someone else do his dirty work.
There you go. Okay?
This is an example of how crappy things are with our new plant manager. On 5/22 at 5:15 p.m., everyone, like plant-wide text message. It says, Drive Automotive Incorporated, Paragould Manufacturing Operations, Main Plant and Quick Struts. In order to meet customer demand, we will be requiring mandatory overtime this Saturday, May 25th. We will continue to observe the Memorial Day holiday as scheduled. Stop to end.
So in other words, you had Sunday and Monday off.
Well, see, Monday was a holiday, right?
Uh-huh.
So what happened? That, oh wow, I didn't know
Yeah.
where's the camera at?
So there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the supervisors, I don't know if they knew or not, but that was crappy. Usually, when we have to work Saturday overtime, it'll be posted on the time clock Thursday. Like if you had any plans or you need to change your plans or work around this, that's how crappy it was of them. They didn't even have the nerve to tell us when we walked out of the factory at the end of the day, oh, by the way, you got to work tomorrow. They waited till we got home and, oh, guess what? You're required to come to work tomorrow.
Brother, I think
I wish we could get everyone in the factory to agree, like, next time they pull that crap, just call in. Nobody show up. What are they going to do, fire 1,000 people?
you're going to have a lot of people that would agree, most of the people would agree to do something like that, but then you're going to have the few.
Yeah. The diehards.
Uh-huh.
It gets me, you know. We're already working 10-hour shifts. We got people that volunteer to come in an hour or two early, or they volunteer to stay over after a 10-hour shift, and they're always, even when we're not working Saturday, they want all the overtime they can get. And you know, after so many hours of overtime, you're just giving it to Uncle Sam. It's a waste, and it doesn't do any good to tell anybody. You know, you can't take that with you. Like Ricky, I took his job, the welder and gas charger, and we were talking about that, how he works so much overtime. He's just like he'd be in there 7 days a week if he could. And for what? I guess he believes in annihilationism. There is no heaven. There is no hell. You can't take it with you.
Who says? You show that to me in the Bible.
Do they have lemonade stands in hell?
Well, I don't know, but
I'd like to have
I'm not big on hot lemonade.
Yeah, probably tastes like urine.
But I've always heard you can't take it with you. You can't take it with you. But then again, I look at the way they buried people way back in the old days. You know, I don't know. I don't know. Would I sit there and be the one to say that I wanted all my treasures pulled in around me while I was in the grave? I don't know. I've never seen heaven. I've never seen hell. I've talked to the rulers of both, but I've never seen heaven or I've never seen hell. If I didn't need it in heaven, because the streets are going to be made of pure gold, well, shoot, let me go around and chunk up some of that street for me.
Yeah, go up there with a jackhammer.
Yeah.
Jackhammer and a wheel. Well, no, better yet, dump truck.
Wheelbarrow would be enough,
Yeah,
or better yet, a wagon full would be enough.
yeah, a few 100 pounds of gold.
Yeah.
Could live on that.
The God that created this city, and then He's got people down here who believe in Him, who trust in Him, and they can't even pay their rent.
Yeah, that's right. I asked God, I said, well, why is it some people that work all these hours, 60, 80 hours a week, and they have to borrow money from me to buy a soda? And that's when God showed me the first chapter of Haggai.
But the
Either-
holes in the pocket?
Either earneth wages,
Or
earneth
the
wages
purse?
to put it in a bag with holes.
Hmm.
Basically, they're bleeding out because they're not building their spiritual temple.
Maybe why don't you catch your breath?
I was thinking about putting the belt back on the mower.
Go ahead.
Before I, about noon I bail out on you. I go out and get the little ratchet and sockets.
Okay.
At least that way she can use it one time till the 4th of July week I'm off and I can get something permanent done.
Alright, brother, I'll be right here. I ain't going nowhere. My friends don't know me. I'm a disabled vet. You want to threaten me with harm? Believe me, I've already been there. You want to threaten me with ill feelings? Believe me, I've already been there. What is it that I fear the most? No, let me put it another way. What would get my self pissed off the most is somebody coming against my family. I don't give a damn what you think about me. I don't care the things you threaten me with. But to the poor idiot that wants to sit there and point a finger at my wife, hell hath no fury like I unleash. My life, I have very few friends, very few acquaintances, but the ones that I have know me. I talk like this a lot of times. Why do I always speak this way? Biggest reason? Well, the biggest reason is because I wish I didn't have to. If I speak this way, it's because I know that there's some fool out there who's going to try to play games. And I will do all I can to keep them from it. But I'm not going to run from it either. I wish I didn't have to. I wish for peace. Because I've already been through war. I don't know, maybe I'm just rambling right now. But let there be peace. Right now, peace in the house. St. Bridget, please, let there be peace. Goddess Hecate, please, let there be peace.